Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrager with Remax Real Estate 10.
I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
And our special guest today is Tonya Kniffen. She is with New Image 2, which is a salon here in Morristown. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we were talking a little bit before we turned the camera on here. And so you were telling me that, and I think this is very unique, that all the rooms at the salon are like private rooms. So
Yes.
you're not like sitting out with everybody else.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how does that work?
Well, I've never worked in that setting before, but now that I have, I will never go back. Not only does the clients love it, if they feel it necessary that while I'm doing their hair and they need to shut the door and have that private conversation, they can. Or, I also work on Monday nights when no one's there. So some people want to come when no one else in the salon is working. So it can be as private as you want it to be. So that's one thing I love about it. It can also be a therapy session. I mean, at one point...
I was going to say, everybody knows your hairstylist is your therapist.
Yes,
so, that's just part of it.
So, but I enjoy it so much, yes.
So you said they have like their own, you have your own shampoo area, your
Closet,
own,
with supplies, like no one comes in my room for anything.
That's pretty cool.
We have a kitchen in there and like a waiting area, which is a big living room. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Good deal. I think I would enjoy that.
Yes.
All right. So how long have you been in business? How long have you been doing this?
I have been doing hair for 18 years. I started at Penny's and I was there for about 6 years. And then I've been at a New Image now for 10 years this past March. So
All right.
it's been a minute. Yes.
Good deal. All right. So what kind of services do you offer people?
Shampoo, cut and style for both men and women. Waxing. I also do perms, colors, foil. And so that's about it. Sometimes I'll do keratin treatments. If there are certain requests, I'll do extra things. But those are the main things that I do. Yes.
Okay. All right. One of the other things you told us is that you are available to book, like for a wedding party or something like that.
Yes.
So,
I also will travel to you to do a wedding. Yes.
Okay. And you said you will travel to like hospitals or somebody who's shut in that can't get out.
Yes.
Okay.
If like I had a client that had foot surgery, I mean, she had went way past, which is not normal, but she didn't want to make that phone call to say, I can't get to you. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Why didn't you call me sooner? So it's not that she can't come back to the salon eventually, but those things happen and you never know.
Oh yeah. I broke my shoulder many moons ago.
And you can't lift your arm?
Well, I couldn't even take a bath by myself because I had this huge thing on it. So I couldn't wash my hair, couldn't do any of that kind of stuff. And my hairdresser, I had been going to her forever, and so she would let me come pretty much after everybody else had left so that she could shampoo my hair and style it and stuff for me because, like, I couldn't even wear a bra because of this whole thing over here. So it was just, it was that time in your life that you're so glad it's gone and done with now. But it does mean a lot to people when, somebody like yourself would go out of your way to help them out during that time. They'll always remember that.
Yes.
Remember you for that. All right. So you do weddings, you do home visits for people who maybe can't get out. What do you do to keep up with like the latest trends or styles in hair?
Well, I have not traveled to a hair show in a while, but generally we do get just a lot of young people just saying, well, can you do fairy hair? Or can you do, so you randomly just learn as it trickles in.
They're showing you pictures. Can you do this?
Yes. So I did go to Vegas about 10 years ago, and my phone was taken, 2 days after I got there. So I don't want to ever go back, but it was a great experience. I do want to go to Atlanta, Georgia hair show soon. So hopefully,
I know
we'll
with
have that
COVID,
done.
I'm sure that shut a lot of the hair shows and
Yes.
stuff like that down.
Yes.
So they're probably just now getting
I'm
rared
doing
back
just
up
online,
again.
looking online at stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is like going to be the big hair trend for this fall? Like, what are you seeing?
Bigger hair. Definitely.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Blast
Bangs.
from the past.
Yes.
That cracks me up.
Yeah. And
I don't know
men
how
with
old you are, but I
perms.
was there for the big hair 80s, and I really don't want to go back to that.
Be good for the hairspray industry again.
Tell me about it. We went through like White Rain and Rave. That was the two kinds
Yep.
that you used. So big hair is coming back.
Whew. And she said, "Man, perms for men."
Yes, mullets.
It's the 80s all over
I
again.
know. I know. I was going to say that, but at least you picked up on it.
Oh yeah, like I said, I lived through that. The mullets, and then the guys would have that curly perm in the back. And,
Ooh.
oh yeah, and their Miami Vice, t-shirt and blazer on.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So, where is New Image 2 located?
305 Euclid Avenue, East Morris Boulevard, in between East High School and the mall.
Okay.
And my building faces Sunoco.
Okay.
But across Morris Boulevard is the New Food City.
Yes.
So
I know exactly where that is. All right. And what are your normal, like, are there days that you're not there, or what normal days do you work?
I work every Monday evening, and I will be in every other Tuesday and Saturday, and then I'm there Thursday and Friday.
Okay. And I'm going to guess you're an appointment only.
Yes.
Okay. So how do people get a hold of you?
Through text or call.
All right. What's your number?
865-851-6929.
All right. Why don't you repeat that one more time?
Okay. 865-851-6929.
All right. And then once the live is over, we'll actually put that down in the comments for you. So if you're looking for somebody new and innovative to do your hair, give Tonya a call. She'd love to help you out and get you on her book. Anything else you want to share with us?
Nope.
Nope. You're good. She's a little camera shy, but she's done good. So,
Very good.
all right. Well, we're going to talk about mortgages and the market report. So if you want to exit out so you're not bored to tears by all that, you're welcome to head out the door while we get started talking about this.
Well,
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
We
much.
appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
So get your phone. And y'all couldn't see her bracelet, but it's the cutest little thing. It's scissors.
I know it looks like hair scissors.
Yeah, it's hair scissors.
Yeah.
Around her wrist. Very cute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right. So, where are we at on mortgage rates, Kimberly?
Well, I'm still running upper sixes, except for THDA, which is 5.875. Of course, the Fed probably already met and made a decision that we don't know yet, so I think they're
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
too. So,
So everything we say right now is probably going to be obsolete by the time
Yeah.
you see it. So
yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
really matter.
Exactly, yeah. One good thing, THDA, I think we mentioned last week that USDA had increased their income limits.
Mhm.
And yesterday we got notification that THDA has increased the acquisition cost, which that's the price of the home. So now you can go up to a $400,000 purchase price and do THDA. And they've increased their income limits. So for Hamlin County, if it's 1 to 2 people, it's now at $83,800. 3+ is like $96,000. Jefferson and Granger, because that's usually the counties that we probably work the most in. 1 to 2 people, household income is $100,560, and 3+ is $117,000. Now we did mention, if anybody remembers, with THDA, the income limits are based on the borrower only. So if you can have a husband who qualifies and wife is not needed, and maybe their combined is over these, as long as we're doing the loan just in the husband's name, you can do that. So again, their interest rate's 5.875, and they do double wides on permanent foundations, site built homes, same interest rate, which is unusual.
Mhm.
Most programs are going to charge you a higher rate if it's a double wide, but THDA gives you that same rate. Plus, they also have the option there if you're a veteran or if you're like an EMT worker, things like that, you get 0.5% off of that 5.875, which would be 5.375. So great, that's a great program for right now with the rates and everything.
Yeah, I know. Like years ago, it seems THDA was a very popular product, and then I don't really know why, but it just seems like over the years it's kind of lost its.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and you got USDA, and probably it's a great program too. But this one is probably a little more lenient, with credit and things like that too.
Okay, so you had made this post, and I don't know if it was yesterday or if it was this morning. I saw it this morning, but Kim posted a checklist, and it's called FHA Inspection Checklist. Check it out on her page. You might want to download it and save it. But, we always talk about on a home inspection, there is no pass or fail to a home inspection. A home inspection is done so a buyer knows exactly what they're getting into, but it's up to each individual buyer as to whether or not they're going to accept the house, or if they're going to get some things repaired or whatever. So that's something I hear all the time is I don't know if this house will pass a home inspection. There's no pass or fail. But if you're doing an FHA loan, then there are going to be certain things that appraiser is going to look for when they do that appraisal. So it's not really like a second home inspection, but that appraiser is going to be looking at more than just the gross living area of the house and what the comps are. So I thought we would go through some of these today just so that, people could realize when you're looking at the house, a lot of times your realtor is going to be the one that's actually looking at these things, because most of the time the buyers are looking at the floor plan, they're looking at the kitchen, they're looking at the bathroom, and, they're not even thinking about will this house go FHA or not. So I just thought we could cover some of these real quick for them.
Sure.
The biggest one is the peeling paint or chipping paint. And so this is pretty much anywhere in the house. So like if you're walking up and it's an older home and you look up and you see peeling, chipping paint, like under the carport or the front porch or whatever, on the railings, on a deck, that's going to be something that's going to get flagged every time by an FHA appraiser. And so you can't just really go and paint over that, because guess what? If paint is chipping or paint is peeling, that's still going to be evident when you paint over it. So it's a little labor intensive in that you're going to have to strip the paint down and then go to repaint it so that you don't have the evidence underneath it. That's probably a big one. Obviously, any signs of mold or mildew.
Yes.
And so I think you're going to be looking for that, in a potential house anyway.
Sure.
Some things that people might not be aware of: missing doorknobs, missing kitchen fixtures and or cabinets, missing gutters, exposed wiring, which again, to me, that's kind of like a no-brainer, But like the windows that don't freely open and close. A lot of times you'll see realtors going through the house trying to open and close windows, especially if it's an older home. Because if you can't get the windows up and down, FHA is going to have an issue with it. So what are ones that kind of stick out to you that you...
Well, one of the biggest ones up here at the top, especially, when we dealt with the days of foreclosures and homes that are not occupied, is it states that utilities must be turned on and operational. When an FHA appraisal comes in, lots of times the appraiser will take a picture of a light that's on. He'll turn the faucet on and show that the water's running. So that's a biggie that some people think, oh, well, I'm not living there, I'm going to turn those utilities off. But they would have to be turned on before the FHA appraiser would come out there. And then I guess just kind of, I guess the biggest thing too, one thing we tell people, because we ask those questions all the time, they'll send us a picture of a home and say, well, this passed. And I'm like, well, it's always up to the appraiser to determine that. But a kind of a rule of thumb we use is we say if there's anything that's a safety issue or anything that would make the house not livable, then those are things that usually an appraiser will pick up on. And when he appraises that property, he's either going to appraise it as is, saying, hey, everything's great, we can move forward, or he's going to appraise it subject to, and then he'll list those items that either need to be repaired or otherwise being inspected, you know. I had one a few years ago that the appraiser came back. It was on a fuse box instead of breakers. And we actually were still able to close it with FHA, but he did require an electrical inspection to make sure those fuses were still supplied the home, and you know there was no safety issues with that. So that's kind of the biggest things, you know, that we see.
Okay. All right. And so some of the other things, it talks about water stains on walls and ceilings. That's mainly to see, you know, do you have a roof leak? Do you have a plumbing leak somewhere in the house? The missing handrails is a big one, because if there's more than 3 steps, so like let's say you've got a little front porch area and you're coming, you know, up the sidewalk, and then you've got 5 steps to get up to that front porch where the door is. If there's not a railing there, they're going to call for a railing. And then even that front porch area itself may need railing around it if it's so many inches above the ground. Going downstairs, there has to be a handrail. Going down the steps to a basement area or whatever. So those are things that like you learn
right
real quick. Those are going to have to be there. You know, some of this stuff I didn't know, that like inadequate caulking and weather stripping on doors and windows. But the point of this is, like she said, that FHA kind of wants you to be buying a house that's not a project. Right. They want you to buy a house that you can move into, live in immediately, and not be undertaking putting new flooring, or, you know, having to redo plumbing, or deal with, you know, issues in the basement of water and things like that. So, like I said, she posted this on her Facebook page, both the business account and her personal profile. So you can download this, save it on your phone, you can print it out, you can do whatever, but it would be a great thing to take with you if you're looking for an FHA loan, so that when you do go in these houses and look at them, you're just kind of, okay, yeah, oh, well, there's that. And this is not an all-inclusive list by any means, right. But it is a good starting point to kind of let you know if the house will go FHA. I know a lot of times, especially right now, because we've talked before about housing affordability, you know, the cheaper homes that come on the market that are usually being sold because of an estate, you know, somebody's passed away, or, you know, we do have a few foreclosures that are coming on the market. And first-time home buyers, you know, house comes on at 125 and they're just chomping at the bit. 99% of the time right now, those homes are not going to go a government loan for whatever reason. And that's very discouraging, I know. It is hard for first-time home buyers out there right now because there's just not a great inventory. And I had seen a post on Facebook in one of those, you know, like living in Morristown groups, and somebody was kind of fussing about, we need more affordable housing. Why are builders not building affordable housing? They can't.
Yeah.
Without some kind of government subsidy to help finance basically the cost of that home, they can't afford to build them. Because your basic, you know, 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is going to cost more than what an affordable home is right now. I mean, you're looking, if you're trying to buy a house at $150,000, they just couldn't build them for that amount of money, based on the materials and the labor and everything else that's going into it. So it is kind of a rough situation out there right now for buyers who have a budget less than $200,000. You know, I would suggest maybe looking into some of the renovation loans that are out there, like an FHA 203K, or I think even conventional has like a renovation product.
Conventional does, and I think actually USDA has one as well.
Yeah.
So there's some options, and basically what those are, just it's a loan program to where, you know, you can work in some, you know, some rehab work, and, you know, get some work done, you know, and include that price into the loan amount. So.
Right. But just because they tell you, okay, yeah, we'll finance $30,000 worth of repairs, that doesn't mean they're going to give you that $30,000. You're going to have to hire contractors. They're going to have to turn in, work receipts and things like that. But, and it's going to have to be a contractor. It cannot be you that does the work.
Exactly.
So, but those are great loan options that I think a lot of people may not know about right now.
Right.
You watch enough HGTV, then you know that a lot of times you can take an older, dated home, get it for a lot less money, and then make it into the house of your dreams. So that may be an option for some people as well.
Exactly.
If you're looking for that. But, all right. So anything else about mortgages we need to know this week?
I think that's it from my end.
All right. Well, we will be here next Wednesday, and we will update you with whatever the Fed has done today while we were doing our Facebook Live. So make sure you come back next Wednesday for the Morristown Market Report.